This is from Dolores Cannon's book Conversations with Nostradamus in the 1980s. This is the dialogue between her and a client under hypnosis. Century 4-31. The moon in the middle of the night over the high mountain. The young wise man alone with his brain has seen it. Invited by his disciples to become immortal, his eyes to the south, his hands on his breast, his body in the fire. He's going to explain this in prose, which means the explanation of the lines will not necessarily be in the same order as they were written down. He says in the future there will be this man, who will be one of the highest, most developed geniuses ever to appear in our present history of man. He says this gentle man made the decision to use his genius to help rather than to hurt mankind, so he is always inventing and envisioning things that will help man. Since he's such a genius, there are many people who study under him to try to comprehend the great fount of ideas that come forth from him. One of the things he envisions to help alleviate the miseries of mankind on Earth is self-contained, self-supporting space stations. They will be like space colonies and will be large enough to be seen from the Earth as small moons. He envisions this to help relieve the poverty, crowding, and things of that nature that could be alleviated if there were more space and cheap energy resources available for mankind in general. These stations he visualizes will be practical to build. He envisions them in such a way that the technology of the time would easily be able to handle building them. And the way he presents the ideas, they are attractive to the politicians as well as to the scientists, so he's successful in getting these things done. As a corollary to this development, another thing he envisions is a way of transplanting some of his genius and knowledge into a type of organic computer, so it will still be there to serve mankind after his body has aged and died. He develops it to the highest point possible to transfer his genius, or rather duplicate his genius and his knowledge, so he still has it, but it's also in this organic computer. That is the meaning of the lines, his eyes pointing southward, his hands on top the breast, his body in the fire. For part of the process of doing this, he must be engulfed by a particular piece of medical machinery that sends energy along all of his nerve passages to stimulate the brain in such a way as to be able to project the essential parts of the psyche that are needed for this organic computer. And it will feel like the body is on fire. That's a very strange translation. Has he shown you any mental pictures of what this organic computer would look like? I can't see anything. I don't think we have the concepts yet. The only clear idea that comes through is that this organic computer will be essential in the running of the space colonies. Somehow it will help them to function to their highest degree, but I can't get any pictures of what it looks like. I guess I automatically think if something is organic, it has to be nurtured and fed, and the building blocks of this computer have to be grown and developed in the laboratory. You know of the child's experiment, where crystals are made to grow in filaments inside of a sealed glass. It's something similar to this, but using certain types of liquids with certain chemical building blocks in them, causing this computer to grow and develop along certain biological formations. Almost like chains of protein, but done in such a way so it can be integrated into certain computer circuits. I was thinking if something was organic, it could die, so to speak. This is true. However, the way this is developed through this man's genius, it is self-renewing like the cells of your body. Some of the organic parts will eventually wear out and get old, but meanwhile it will have replicated itself, so there will be organic parts sloughing off from this device, but there won't be any loss of knowledge because it will be continually self-renewing. He says applications of this computer will be applied wider and wider to where it would totally alter the technology of mankind. This apparently will be something that will happen in the far future. He envisions the 21st century, perhaps the 22nd. He says even though it seems very fantastic to us, it will not be as far in the future as one would think. Because of this man's genius, he will speed up the process immensely in developing things that seem very fantastic to us now. It was very easy for him to spot this man along the nexus of time paths because he creates such a large ultimate effect. He's at a nexus of timelines, but anything he does will affect the various futures the Earth could travel along. So he was a prominent light, that's the way he's describing it. He was a prominent light on the landscape of time.
He
says he's a very knowledgeable person, and he decided to apply his remarkability through science rather than through philosophy, so he could help mankind materially rather than just mentally. He says this man is one of the major forces that will help the Earth recover from the scars of war it will have gone through. He will help heal the Earth so mankind in general can be whole and happy and living well again. He will appear after the Antichrist. This man will be able to see how the Earth is scarred and how it could be healed, and he decides to apply his life to that. He's the main antidote to the Antichrist. That's good because the Antichrist sounded so final.
This shows that
we do have some hope for the future. He says, yes, the universe has to keep things balanced. You can't tip the scales all the way one way without them swinging back the other way. And this man, due to the nature of his genius, causes the scales to swing back toward a good phenomenon happening.
He will apply
himself in such a way that things will balance and even out and be better all the way around. The scales pulled one way toward the very evil man and now can come back toward the very good. I'm glad to hear that. It was very depressing. He says if they went toward the very evil man and just stayed there, they would be out of balance and it would tear apart this part of the fabric of the universe.
So it cannot be.
He's chuckling at this point. He's saying, see, I'm not always a doomsayer. Yes, I did accuse him of that, didn't I? Laugh. Well, this gives me a little bit of hope that maybe all of his quatrains won't be gloom and doom. He said so much about the gloom and doom because he has no worry about mankind surviving the good times. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to survive the gloom and doom. And he tries to warn people of it, so they'll be braced to survive it. Then they'll be around to enjoy the good times afterward.